Welcome back to Rich and Mike's show, the Awfully Good podcast. This is Rich again, and Mike. How you doing today, Mike?
It is a new day. A new day has dawned, and I hope everybody's ready for it because I kind of am, and it's going to be glorious.
But why are you so ready for it?
Because, the only competition I actually had in my division is now gone. And when I say competition, what I'm really saying is somebody that's never actually beaten me. So it's not really, I guess, I'm not really saying much of anything.
You're saying it just got easier for you.
I mean, it was already pretty easy, wasn't it?
You just throw shade at that division. Keep doing that. While the Cowboys are sitting there at 3-2. He's
3-2, yes, 3-2, not 4-1 like I am in the lead. But continue on with whatever you're talking about.
So this is our quarterly podcast. This is we're going to cover the first quarter of the season and a little bit of week 5. It looks like we didn't get it done, I guess, right after week 4 because we were lazy.
Yes, very lazy. I didn't want to do it tonight, but you convinced me because we're both really bored.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it came down to. I didn't feel like doing it myself, but LSU's playing right now, and I figured I'd do this instead. LSU Alabama's a pretty big game tonight.
I don't even watch college football anymore, and apparently Michigan's really good, so that's probably not a coincidence.
They are. I watch the playoffs, but I don't really follow LSU that closely. I want them to win, obviously, but that's about the extent of that. I don't go to the games and wear purple and gold everywhere I go.
Well, you probably don't look very good in those colors anyway.
I do, actually. I look very good in purple.
That doesn't surprise me, actually.
It's one of my colors.
You're like a Southern Barney.
Exactly. It's kind of messed up. So, any big surprises in the first quarter so far that you can see?
Surprises. Titans have a win and actually 2 of them. That's a surprise. I was surprised by that.
Now, why is it a surprise? Because they had no win season 1?
I mean, yeah. If you actually look at who he's beaten, it doesn't really mean anything, but because those teams also suck.
Who's this quarterback? Because I know there's no Mariota's not there anymore.
I don't know. Did he draft one? I'd have to look that up because I don't pay attention to teams that are that low on the pecking order.
I don't pay attention to many teams, to be honest with you.
Like, I was looking at Daddy Leagues the other day, and on the homepage, you can see the top 5 passers, and it's like, I have no idea what team any of these quarterbacks are on because they're just names.
He does have a rookie, Gordon Nicholson.
Is he good?
86 throw power, 86 medium accuracy, 91 short accuracy, 75 deep, 86 play action, 87 throw on the run, 84 throw under pressure. He's not bad.
Yeah, but probably
somewhat mobile, 79 speed, 80 acceleration. He can get out the pocket if he needs to.
I don't know. That's one of those, like, you got to know what you're doing when you have a quarterback like that because bad deep accuracy and low throwing power, and that just can end badly for some people. I'm not saying him specifically, but I did watch him throw into, like, quadruple coverage one game.
I think this guy's a little bit worse than Mariota. Maybe he might be more accurate. At least short accuracy.
But what do I care? I have Russell Wilson. It doesn't matter to me.
Nothing matters to you.
I mean, come on now. What am I supposed to care about teams that go 1-15 and only because of a CPU game?
When you're doing a podcast, you should try to care about everyone the same.
You just admitted that you don't.
Yeah, but I'm an asshole.
Well, if you're going to take the asshole role, that means I need to be like the regular person, and I don't know if I have those capabilities. So you're going to have to, like, get with the program.
Soften up here.
Yeah.
So
what surprised you?
The quitting is what surprised me the most so far. Losing. Well, it doesn't really surprise me, I guess. It's just,
I think we saw it coming.
It's more of the guys that quit. 2 long-term members, but we did see the quitting coming. We talked about it, I think, on the preseason podcast. Maybe we talked about it.
Yeah.
And about how this is the time where guys, after that long off season, start playing, and everybody's excited to play, and then they get a couple losses, and then they bail. But both these guys, neither one really they weren't really having a bad season. Public only had 1 loss. He was 4-1 right now.
Yep.
And then what was Bumble at the time? I don't believe he was that bad.
He took the loss and he was 1-3, I believe. So he wasn't on the way to a good season. And like you said, like people, they're long-term members that quit, and that it's like a double-edged sword. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of new guys who aren't doing very well, and maybe you expect them to eventually give up and move on with their lives, and some of them probably should. But it's the long-term guys who have just been playing this game every year over and over with the same people against the same people, and it's still not going. They're not having fun. Public talked to me season 1 about it not being fun, and he was ready to give up. That's why he started using his corner the way he was, because it was just something to do.
He was just trying to go through the motions of finishing the season then.
Right. And, like, truth be told, there have been probably like 4 or 5 different occasions where I was ready to quit up until this point. I don't know about you.
Yeah, for sure. I've wanted to quit a couple of times. Even while winning, I thought about this isn't as fun as it used to be. I don't know why. I'm not saying every game is like that, but yeah, there's plenty of times where I consider it. I don't know what it is though. I think I talked about a little bit on the Saints podcast, but I think the game's just hard, man. You know, I know it's maybe I sound like I'm being a bitch or I'm being soft or something, but it's hard when you play with these sliders and against the level of competition in this league. It's hard. It's frustrating week to week. There's no easy games. There's every week you're going into the next game thinking, okay, what's going to happen here? What am I looking for here? It's a grind. It really is a grind, and it can wear on you. And guys like Public and Bumble, they've been grinding for a couple of Madden cycles now, and it'll wear on you.
That's why I don't ever play this game except when I'm playing in here. And like, yeah, some like you, I think you play this game every goddamn morning. It seems like
I do.
And you see a lot of more of the dumb shit than I do. And it pisses you off more than it does me because I never see it. So when I do see something that's really stupid, like a center sneak or whatever you want to call it, I just kind of like say, well, that fucking sucked, and I moved on because I'm very apathetic, and it's a tool that I use to not give a shit about things.
The center sneak thing, though, that's an issue, man. That shouldn't be happening. You know, that happened to me. The first time it almost costed me a game. It could have costed me a game. It was on a third down, I believe, like a 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 3 or something, and the center gets the first down. And then it happened again to me this season. Ended up not costing me anything. In fact, I think it worked out worse for him. He might have actually lost a yard on it. And then we saw it again today in the Texans and Bengals game. That was huge. That's a very big, regardless of the down that it was, the place it was on the field, that was huge in that moment in the game. You know, did he get the first on that?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. I don't know if he got the first or just a big
2nd and 3 or something.
But man,
it's just smart football, man. If you know you need a good yardage, just have your center take the ball up the middle.
Well, that's the other thing is that I remember, I think it might have been Sarah that had posted this in the chat, but it's that glitch is caused by the defense. It's something the defense does that causes the glitch. I don't know. It's happened to me twice. So I don't know if what I'm doing is causing it to happen, which I don't understand what it could be.
I think I was talking to you earlier today in the DMs about the ace single back and how if I run a stretch, I get immediately my quarterback gets immediately tackled by the defensive tackle.
Yep, I've seen it.
And I think what that is, I think it's about the way you adjust the line, because usually I'll shift the line either direction I'm going. And I ran it. I was doing some head-to-heads because I was bored. And I didn't touch my line at all. I just ran the play, and it didn't happen. I don't know if it's one of those things where it always happens, but every time it happens, I notice it. That's the only thing.
I don't know. I don't know if I was adjusting my blocking or not, or sliding the line one way or the other. I don't think I was when it was happening. But when I was testing playbooks, the Saints playbook doesn't have that play. It's a stretch out of the ace formation. But it was other playbooks when I was testing that was happening to me, and I didn't even know the formation. I just knew it was a stretch play, and I was getting hit. It's always to the left too. When I stretch to the left, the tackle would it would be instantly tackled as soon as I get the ball.
Yeah, there's a lot wrong with the game. I understand that. As people have seen, I go on the Reddits and I yell at people who bitch and complain. I'm not saying you shouldn't bitch and complain about things that are wrong because it sucks that they're wrong. I just know that they're wrong, and I can't really do anything about it. I don't know how to code a video game, and I can't really code this one because it's already made. So I just kind of live with it.
I don't even think there's a lot wrong with the game. I think there's just a few things that can be fixed. You know, I don't think it's a lot. I really don't. Like the center sneak thing, that's an issue. Because it can be game breaking. It can be game changing, I should say, for sure.
But it's like,
the terrible trajectory that we're always talking about. You have to adjust to that. Everyone knows it's bad, so you have to be aware of it. The center sneak, you're not really aware of an illegal play on the field. You know,
like I played my game last night. I ran halfback angle. He was going up and to the left, and Public's user was following him. He's a little bit behind him and to the right, and I'm staring at my running back, who's technically open, and I know he's technically open, but I also know that I should not throw the ball because he's not actually open, and I still throw the ball anyways because that's who I am. And it was a pick 6, so whatever. I still won the game, and he's never beaten me. That's all that matters.
Just throwing that back in there.
And apparently he never will. But moving on to things that matter. I don't know anything else that was super surprising. I mean, it's pretty much going the same way it went last user season.
Well, I will say RFF being 2-2 is a little surprising.
That's a little surprising. We both assumed he was going to run away with that division, and good old Ninja. Okay, I'm never calling him that. His name is Brett. Brett got the win over him. That surprised me, honestly.
It did me too. I'm surprised Brett's 3-1 right now.
He beat Big K, and that surprised me, basically. And he's doing what he should do. Let the defense do work.
For sure, because he's allowed 108 points, but he's only scored 102.
Well, that's not a good. Well, he did have a big blowout against RKO. I think it was like 48 to fucking 10 or some shit. So that skew those numbers.
He got blown out.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That'll make a huge difference because if they put up 48, you take out 20 of that. Say it's 28 in a normal game. He would still be at 88 points allowed though. That's quite a bit for that defense.
3 touchdowns a game, I think is okay to give up. I try to give up less than that, but it doesn't work for me.
You got the Texans with 87 and 87, but he had that weird sim where it was 9-3.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So you kind of early to go off of the points for points against thing here. But no, again, like you said, I agree. I don't see much that's real surprising outside of the little bit we talked about there. It seems like it's going the same as it did last season. I know we always hope for parity in the league, but I don't think you're seeing it right now. I think you're seeing a lot of, well, I guess it depends on what your definition of parity would be here. But as far I'm talking in terms of like playoff teams.
Like looking at the AFC according to Daddy Leagues right now, it's literally the same except for instead of the Texans, it's the Steelers in the AFC right now are the only different team.
Right.
In the NFC, as I scroll down, it's you, Chicago, no longer Philadelphia. That would be me now. Seattle, Dallas. I don't think Dallas was in it. So you're missing like the Cardinals, who are still up there, and I forget who the other team. Oh, Z-Car and the Panthers. That's who made it season 1.
Yeah, so I guess the NFC we have a little bit of parity going on there because
on the bottom half.
You have right, but the top is still the same top teams,
right?
Except aside from the Texans, so
plenty of time to turn it around.
I guess at the same time you wouldn't expect to see a complete changeover of playoff teams.
No, you hope that the division races will get a little bit tighter because I don't even. Besides my division, season 1, I don't, and you and Z-Car, which was still both of you were going to make the playoffs. It's just seeding. Besides seeding wise, I don't remember any tight races season 1.
Me and Z-Car were fighting for a playoff spot until I believe week 15. Whenever we played, I think I still could have missed the playoffs,
which was crazy.
Something weird like that. Yeah, because I only had I had 3 losses at the time.
But I mean, you had the Texans and the Jaguars season 1 who were fighting for the division. The AFC West was, what it is now, basically.
Well, you had Broncos and the Raiders were in there.
Chiefs actually took an L early on this season to the Cincinnati Bengals, who just took an L to the Houston Texans. So a little bit more parity in the AFC. Maybe it's because they wait so long to play their games.
Could be.
Fuckers.
Could be. It could start to even out. Also, it's real early. There was quite a long break between the week 17 and week 1 here, so maybe some guys are just knocking the rust off, and that's what we're seeing. I don't know. That I will say, talking about the Bengals loss today, that was a big game for the Texans because if RFF loses that game, he's sitting at 1-3 with the Jaguars at 3-1, and I know it's early, but that's a mountain to climb.
And that's that would have been 2 losses to 2 AFC North teams that you'll be fighting for the wild card in that situation.
Right. So that would have been tough.
But as it going forward, I don't see anybody really, because like on the bubble in the AFC right now, you got a bunch of 2-2 teams like the Raiders and the Bills and the Texans, and you assume they can push towards a winning record, but is it going to be too little too late? And then in the NFC, you got, again, some 2-2, 2-3 teams. You got the Cardinals at 3-2 now, pushing for that wild card, maybe the division. It's still, like we said, it's all the same teams, but just in general, who's in the playoffs right now, hypothetically, I don't see it changing much.
I guess I kind of agree with that. I have to look at it a little bit deeper, but I don't think you're wrong. Just by looking at it real quick, the teams that you would expect to start making a push would be like Z-Car. I can see him getting on a winning streak here, rattling off a few wins and getting back in the playoff hunt. Same thing with the Vikings, Packers, Cardinals. They're all in there. The Cardinals are already in the wild card, looks like. But I can see the wild card tightening up.
Because we talked in the preview about guys like the Falcons, guys like the Browns, guys like a few of the AFC East teams maybe making a push to go from almost to the wild card to maybe being in their division, but it's just they're coming up short early, and you hope that they can turn it around, but I don't know if I see it.
It'll be telling in the next the next quarter, I guess, by after week 8, we'll have a better idea. It's hard to make predictions here because it's so early, but also it seems like not much is going to change, like you said, because a lot of these teams that are leading were in the playoffs last season, so there's no reason to expect them to not continue the pace they're going.
And I think by the time of our next podcast, whenever that may be, I'm not saying when it is because then people get bitchy and complain that we haven't done it yet. I hope we don't see a lot more quitting happening. But if you're 0-8 and you don't, and the game's not fun because you're not winning, that's a thing. That's a real thing. If you're not winning and the game can be not fun, that's okay. And you want to move on. Nothing wrong with that. Like if, it's season 1 and you lose 2 games and then you quit, then you're a bitch. But season 3 halfway through and you're just not, I don't want to say good enough. I don't want to say that because it sounds like elitist. But some people aren't.
But that's okay. Like not everyone's going to finish at the top of the league. The main thing is if you're gonna not win games, you have to at least be improving and moving towards something. Like when I first joined leagues in general, I wasn't good at all. Like I wasn't winning games. I might have been in the 7-9 range. I don't know if I ever finished 6-10, but 7-9 for sure. And but my whole thing was I wasn't so much concerned with winning as I was with building the best team in the league. So if my team was really good, that's all I cared about is, and then the rest will take care of itself. So I guess that's nothing you can look at. Like don't be concerned with winning. If you're frustrated with not winning, try to take some pride in building your team. Granted, this year is different. It's really hard to build a team right now.
Yeah, I mean, like people want to, yell at me for trading a first for a good middle linebacker. That's fine, but I have a good middle linebacker now, which I was not going to be able to draft unless I had a top pick. So now I have a good middle linebacker for what I'm going to assume is a late first-round pick, and I'm okay with that.
Because you're at least you're on pace right now for the playoffs. You're likely going to make it, but where you're sitting right now, it's going to be a late first. At least in the 20s in there. So you weren't drafting Zach Cunningham with a 22nd pick in the draft.
And even if you get a younger, not as good Zach Cunningham, say he's like a 78 overall or 77, even if he has superstar development and he's 21 years old, he's not going to be what he is now until season 7, if then.
Yeah, you'll be lucky to get him to 85 without winning awards and all that other fun
Linebackers
stuff.
are hard to develop. That's all I know.
They are.
Well, that's like half the reason I switched to a 4-3, just so I had less linebackers to worry about.
Yeah. Yeah, they're real hard to develop.
But as it relates, like you said, like the building of, if you're not doing good and you're not winning, worry about building your team. That's great. Do that. But another thing is, first off, if you're not having fun, then you're not having fun, and I can't really help you with that. Then you can, make your own choices. But if you're losing a lot, there's probably a reason. If you're always losing, there's probably like some specific reasons why you're losing a lot. So maybe you should not do the things that cause you to lose all the time and try something else.
To be fair, though, sometimes guys don't know what they're doing to cause them to lose.
There are so many people in this league that have played so many games and know so much about this game that you could go to. There's a specific channel made for people that don't win a lot of games that you can ask questions in.
Yeah, that needs to be pushed more, though. I think having guys learn needs to be pushed more.
Because, here's the thing about...
I said it today in the chat when I was talking about me not streaming. The trolling seems to have gotten a little bit worse than it was before. Not just trolling, but just people taking jabs and kind of not necessarily shit talking, but taking jabs at guys and kind of being a smart ass. And I know for me personally, it discourages me from asking questions in the chat.
And maybe I'm a hypocrite because I will throw some shade at people that do dumb shit. But if you throw into quadruple coverage during a game, I'm going to laugh at you. That's just, I'm sorry, I can't. I don't know what you're thinking. And that's the thing. I want to know what you're thinking. Why are you throwing into quadruple coverage? Why are you running all those cover zero blitzes and giving up 80-yard touchdowns? Why are you thinking this is what you should do?
The thing is, if specifically you are gonna do that to me, it's different than if it's somebody that doesn't know you well in the chat. If it's like, I don't know anybody that the Dolphins guy, let's say, he's throwing a lot of interceptions, and you start hounding him about it. Well, that's not helping him. It's just going to frustrate him more. If you're doing it to me, obviously we talk pretty often, so it's just a little bit different. You don't want to discourage that guy from asking questions in the chat. That guy needs to ask questions.
I'm not trying to discourage anybody except for Brett because he's annoying.
I'm not saying that's your intent. I'm saying that's what ends up happening to guys when they're being slightly picked on and trolled in the chat.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But my main point was just usually when I started in this league, I was referred to by our Lord and Savior, RFF, as the worst defensive play caller he's ever seen. Those are the exact words. Because I would run a lot of blitzes, zone blitzes, at terrible times. And I would, like he usually says, it might work once, but then every other time you give up a big gain. There are things you should do in certain situations. I'm not asking everybody to be like fucking Bill Belichick out there. And I know it's hard to change the way you play because I still play the way I kind of used to play. And the way you play sometimes just is the way you play. I'm saying the same words over and over again.
Yes, you are.
Whatever. Do you at least understand what I'm saying?
Not really.
Okay, if you play a certain way and it's not working, it's hard to change that.
I understand that for sure.
And you can continue doing what you're doing even though it's not going to work, and I assume that's not going to be fun.
Well, that's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results.
So, like, reach out to people that you think that, or watch other people's games, assuming they're streamed, which they aren't very much anymore. Watch somebody else's game, and if you see them doing something that's working and you want it to work, fucking ask them about it. And if they say to fuck off, ask somebody else.
But on a serious note, though, let's say you just joined the league. Who do you think's the guy you would go to in the league right now to ask questions about, why you're struggling on, let's say,
besides RFF or including him?
Well, aside from RFF, besides him,
probably Saren. Just because he knows a lot of, he's not going to want to talk to people because he's a dick. But
I said it today in the chat. Saren helped my defense out without him even knowing he helped my defense out with talking about disguising defenses.
I'm not saying in the cheese game mechanics way, but he knows a lot about the game.
He does, yes.
And beyond, like, not taking it to a point where you're trying to cheese the system, but knowing things about the game. Like, I didn't know about high throws for a while. I just didn't. Like, and then somebody pointed out a high throw, and I'm like, oh, I should try that. And now I do high throws. I didn't know about touch throws. I don't know why I don't know these things. I just was who I was, and I played a certain way, and I learned new things, and now I use them.
Both of those things are things that I knew about, but not things I necessarily used. And especially like I still don't use touch often enough. High point I'm using more often now. I think that makes a huge difference. But definitely touch is, I see guys using touch passes on me, and it's real effective.
Mm-hmm. Like, I would say, generally speaking, you shouldn't bullet pass a lot in this game right now.
Depending on the routes. If it's a stop route like a curl,
right,
probably bullet. But if it's going to be like a slant or something that you're trying to create separation on, touch pass is the way to go. It's much less likely to be intercepted on a touch pass.
But then it goes back to building your team, because if you don't have a really good quarterback, these things may not work for you. And that's where it just figuring out what does and doesn't work. Because season 1, I would try a high throw with Kyle the Goat Lauletta, and it wouldn't work at all. So I stopped doing it. And then season 3 with Russell, the actual Goat Wilson, who, if you didn't know, I got for second and late first. High throws work a lot better for me now.
It makes a huge difference. I play two quarterbacks with Taylor and Popick, and it's a big difference on trying to high point with Taylor. And when you were watching the game last night, whenever I had that throw that it looked like it missed one guy and almost threw a touchdown to Ingram, but it fell short.
Right.
That play was a high point pass to, I believe it was Thomas, running across the field, and the pass missed him so bad. This was with Tyrod. It almost hits Ingram further downfield for that, which would have been a touchdown if he just turns around and catches it. So that happens with Tyrod. That doesn't happen so much with Popick, who's a little bit more accurate than Tyrod. Not much, but enough to make a difference. Because the game, my Vikings game, I had I had at least 3 or 4 tight end seams that were high pointed over his user. I did the same thing, I think, to Z-Car, where I high pointed over his user to Ingram. So it definitely should be using that often, and the quarterback makes a difference.
I don't know what to talk about now.
Yeah, that was all about the game. We're not even talking about the quarter stuff anymore. The first quarter of the season.
I mean, like we said, not much. We probably didn't even need to do this one, but we got to talk and people get to listen. You know what we haven't done? Shit on J-Shock yet. Let's do that.
I don't want to shit on J-Shock. He's struggling.
What? Is he struggling, or is he just J-Shock?
Well, Winston sucks. And that's always an issue.
I mean, it is an issue. Like, quarterbacks, if your quarterback's not good, then you should probably get rid of him. Or adjust. I don't know. I don't know if you can adjust to a bad quarterback. And I'm wondering, because Winston's ratings aren't that terrible, if I recall. And I'm wondering if Madden was just like, hey, let's put in a little hidden glitch where Jameis Winston and Blake Bortles are actually terrible, regardless of what their ratings are. That would be funny to me.
I do remember playing. I haven't played J-Shock season 3 yet, but season 1, He had plays where Winston would just miss guys. It
Oh
was
God,
weird.
yes. When I played him and I beat him by 25, and then there was a mysterious disconnection. He'd have, I believe, Mike Evans or OJ Howard wide open, like wide the fuck open over the middle, and Winston would either throw it high or way in front of him. And what I've noticed is like those kind of missed throws that usually are intercepted don't happen anymore, and they just get missed, and I'm okay with that.
That's true. Well, I wonder if he's high pointing or if he's leading and it's causing that. Because when you have lower accuracy and you try to lead, you're going to miss much more often.
Right.
Now, I did see Cam Newton when I played Z-Car week 4. It looked like he tried to low ball, and the ball completely misses wide receiver, and Crawley's the only one that had a chance to get to it and picked it off on like a diving interception. That was one of the few times you see a pass that's off target go right to, and it wasn't even right to the cornerback. It was just only to where the cornerback could make the pick, and nobody else.
No, it sucks. I hate those kind of ones where like it's an off throw, and as soon as you throw it, you can see the cornerback who's not even actually near it, like instantly dive to where the ball's going. Like he knows exactly where the ball's going.
But that's what it was. He
Yeah.
instantly dove for it. You're like, well, that's random.
It's like when you get it, you're like, cool. When it happens to you, you're like, fuck this game. I hate it, basically.
And when that happens to when things like that happen to me, that's when I want to quit the most. That's when I'm like, I'm done. I'm done after this game. I'll message you and be like, I'm done. This is over.
And then you win those games,
and then I win. And I'm like, all right, well, this wasn't too bad. I ended up winning this.
So I'm looking at the trade news channel, and it's been a little bit busy lately.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the trades are really bad. So I want to talk about them.
Okay. What did you think specifically? Which ones were bad?
Well, the the newest trade. Steelers have sent wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster to thine Washington Redskins for safety Monte Nicholson, who's like an 82 overall, 24-year-old, who's not that bad, and Denver's 2021 first-round pick. What's your opinion on that?
I think he way overpaid for a second tier like a number 2 wide receiver.
I mean, Juju's like an 88 overall, but still.
Oh, he is. I thought he was an 82.
No, he's good now.
Oh, let me look at him then. Let me just before
I
state my very uneducated opinion here.
Well, you are from the South.
Well,
yeah, I said it. I'm just gonna say that first off, Monte Nicholson is a really good free safety. He's got like 86 zone coverage, which is actually better than Josh Norman, his starting free safety, who's 32 years old. And like, I don't know, man. It goes back to who the Redskins are and what I was talking about earlier, because he traded for Wentz and he got himself a good quarterback, and then he still played the same way that he was playing. And now you have a good wide receiver. That's cool. It's not going to matter unless you make it work. If you keep doing what you're doing, it's not going to matter how good your team is.
I was way off in Juju. I'm looking at him right now. He's really good.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying he's not good.
I want to look at this safety that he traded. Who was the safety?
Monte Nicholson, free safety, unless you got.
Why do the Steelers need to have 5 safeties? Free safeties specifically?
How many of them are good?
2 of them.
Yeah. Maybe he's running that 1-3-8. No, that's too many numbers. 1-2-8. He's running 8 defensive backs.
That's a very fast free safety here. 93 speed, 91 acceleration. He's nice. 86 hit power. Zone 86 zone. That's a very good free safety.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I'll leave first.
I'm gonna kind of agree with you that it might not be a good trade for the Redskins. A lot to do with the fact that he already had Paul Richardson and Josh Doxson.
Right.
Not Doxson. Crowder. Jamison Crowder. Are both pretty good receivers, and Juju isn't really much better than those 2 guys are. He's younger, but he's not much better.
If you want to run 3 wide receivers, you can put Crowder in the slot, and that's a good move. That's fine, but you still got to make it work yourself. You are still in control, no matter how good the players you have are.
Well, that's true too. You still can't throw into double coverage.
I already talked about me getting my linebacker, so we'll skip that because I don't need to talk about that anymore. Packers send cornerback Kevin King and a third to the Cardinals for Patrick Peterson. And we're both interested in this one because we both wanted Patrick Peterson.
Yeah, I didn't even get a response. Man.
I got shade thrown at me in general chat because he doesn't understand this versus next. But whatever.
So I remember talking about this, but I don't remember. I got to go look at King here. I think it was a bad. I thought
King's
it was
like an 80, I think. So on one hand, you have the Packers spending a third, giving up a younger corner for a better corner now. On the other hand, you have the Cardinals giving up an older corner for a younger guy and a third.
That's right. It was the third-round pick that made this just a terrible trade to me. I think this is worse than the Juju trade because Peterson is going to be good through season 5 for sure. Like you can use him this season for sure, and probably in season 5. If not, he's going to be a very, very good safety,
right,
for season 5, and possibly for season 7 even. You have a really good safety, so he makes your secondary stays pretty good. And this King guy is not going to be nearly as good as Peterson is. He's 25 already. He's not going to develop much more than he is. Let's see what he has here. He's quick development. No, he's almost done. He's going to get 1 more point, maybe 2 for this season. He needs 8,000. He's at almost 7,000 right now, so he'll probably get another point. So at best, we're looking at 81, 82 overall. I don't know, man. I mean, that's going to be your number 1 cornerback because Jamar Taylor's, well,
Jamar Taylor sucks. I hate that man. But I understand the idea of getting younger and getting a pick. I just don't like – I'm not even mad that I didn't get Patrick Peterson. I just think you could have gotten more for him.
No, we talked about this. This isn't – in Madden 16, 17, and 18, this isn't a bad trade. This is probably a good trade. Not probably. This is definitely a good trade for you because you end up with a young cornerback that's going to last you the rest of the cycle, and you get a third-round pick. This Madden specifically is why I think it's a terrible trade because, first of all, with a third-round pick, you're not getting much of that third-round pick in this Madden. The draft talent and just the level of players coming out, it's been rough.
You get maybe a 75 overall or whatever.
You'd be lucky in the third, and to have that 75 develop into anything above average, like in the mid 80s, which would be, I guess that'd be good. But anything around 80 to 82, that's gonna be tough to do at any position. Then also trading Peterson, Madden 16, 17, 18 makes sense because he's 30 years old.
And, he would die in those games.
Exactly, he'd die right off in another season or two if he's not useless already. This Madden's not the same thing. He's going to be good in season 5 and still be able to start at cornerback in season 5 if you need him to. So I think, like I said, I think this Madden is why it's a bad trade, not necessarily in previous Maddens. And I think guys are still just in that mindset of 30 years old is too old, and I want to get younger at 25 years old so he still develops, even though he's not really going to develop, after this season.
I don't know. I
did think the Garyon Connolly trade for you was pretty good. You just gave up a third.
Yeah, no, I make good trades, even though I'm terrible.
A pretty good cornerback. He's not going to be great, but
he's my number 2 right now because I got my rookie Iwa.
Okay, so look,
number 1.
Look at this. You gave up Garyon Connolly is basically almost the same as this guy King that the Cardinals just got. The Cardinals had to give up Patrick Peterson to get the guy you got for a third.
I'm not saying anything. I'm bad at trades. I'm not allowed to talk about them anymore.
Seahawks send Desmond King to the Raiders. That was a surprising trade, being that the Seahawks just traded for him.
I was trying to get him too, because my plan, which probably wouldn't work, was to trade for King and Conley, and then also have my rookie and never need a corner ever again. But it didn't work because Sage outbid me. So good for Sage, I guess. Giving up a first for a corner like King makes sense.
I thought Sage could have kept Connolly. And
I don't know what the rest of his corners look like. You'd have to tell me, Mr. Looking at the game right now.
He's got Desmond King is his number one. And he has, well, he's not that good. He got Rashad Melvin at 30 years old, 81 overall. And then it goes to Eli Apple at 76. And
Eli Apple is trash, and that's all I'm going to say. I don't know. I don't think it was because if I recall, Saren gave up a 2 and a 3 to get King, and then eventually traded him for a first.
So it works out good for Saren.
Right. I don't know why you trade away King, though. Why not just keep him and have badass corners everywhere?
Well, he has 2 really good corners already. He has Shaquille Griffin at 86, and then he has this guy, Quentin Nielsen.
Oh, he got the really fast dude. I remember that now.
Yeah, he's got the rookie at 82 overall already. So that's probably why he didn't need him, and he gets an extra first. Me personally, I would have kept him. I would have just had 3 really good cornerbacks. That's why I was after Patrick Peterson.
Right.
So I wanted to have this ridiculous cornerback group.
Like I would have taken Patrick, my rookie, and Conley, and I would have been fine.
But also, to be fair, Saren has the number 1 scoring defense in the league right now. He's only allowed like 43 points in 4 games, whatever it is. So
he can do whatever he wants, I guess.
Right. Who are we to criticize the number 1 scoring defense in the league on what they do? No other real trades to talk about, I don't think.
No.
Kirk Cousins.
None that matters. Like I said, none that matter.
I have a trade in the works right now, but I'm not going to talk about it until it's
because you don't want to get scooped.
Well, no, I don't want to. I don't want to talk about it before it's happened.
It's you already did. I know what it is. I could spill the beans,
well,
but I'm not gonna because I am a man of honor.
It's on the committee right now, but we're waiting on some other stuff, so we'll see what happens. And it's not a really big trade. It's just a good one for me, I guess.
I don't know what else to talk about, but I feel like there's things to talk about.
We talked about people quitting. I'm hoping nobody else quits the rest of the season, but it happens. I don't want to speculate on who is next. I thought about that, and I was like, well, maybe we shouldn't really go that route.
Are we going to throw odds out the door now because that's a big thing now, putting odds on things?
I actually like the prediction thing. I think Isaiah is doing a good job with the predictions. Whatever you want to call this.
Spread?
Yeah, the spread thing. I like it. I think it's fun. It adds to the league. I'm glad we're doing it.
I'm waiting for the first game where somebody's like, let's say it's a top, like, I don't know. I have it in my head, but I can't put it into words. Somebody's going to be able like break away for a score. And if they score, it's going to fuck up the spread. And they're going to like take a dive instead and run the clock out. And everybody's going to be pissed.
That would be messed up.
Is it though? Like Todd Gurley did it a couple weeks ago in real life.
Oh, I see what you're saying. If you do it like that, yeah. No, that would. I mean,
you can't be mad at somebody for winning the game. You don't got to score to win the game if you're already winning. But if you're up 4 and the spread's 5, but you're about to score, which would fuck up the spread or whatever, and you take a dive instead, but you still win your game. Can't be mad at that person, but people will be.
I think it might have been the Raiders game where.
What was that? Plus like 6.5 or some shit?
Yeah, I think I could have kicked a field goal at the end, and I would have beaten the spread. I don't remember.
Did you win your pick, though?
I did.
So you're selfish is what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is in a situation like that where like I could kick a field goal, and if I picked, let's say I would have picked myself to beat the spread, I could have kicked the field goal and beat the spread. You know what I mean? I didn't need
like a field goal that you didn't need in the game. Is what
exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, like I feel it's going to come up, and it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it, people. But just know that people will hate you if you fuck up their spreads. Just like people hate real-life athletes when they fuck up their spreads. I still hate J.R. Smith to this day.
And their fantasy teams.
J.R. Smith cost me $200. I just want to say that.
Oh, that was nice of him.
He's a fucking shirtless dick.
You don't bet on teams that have J.R. Smith on them with them.
I had him as part of a parlay, okay, when he was on the Knicks, which doesn't make it sound any better, probably.
What's a parlay?
Parlay is when you pair multiple bets together and you have to hit on all of them to win your bet. But what that does is give you better odds, aka you win more money.
I see.
So I had a 3-team NBA parlay, and I had the Knicks +4, which means they could lose the game by 3 and still actually win my bet. And the Knicks were down 4 with the ball. J.R. Smith had the ball. J.R. Smith dribbled the ball, and then he tried to do the laziest cross-court pass I've ever seen in my life. And by the way, they were playing the Miami Heat with LeBron James. He took the ball, and he dunked it.
Of course he did.
And then J.R. Smith had the ball again, because J.R. Smith at that time was like J.R. Smith with the Knicks, which wasn't very good because all he had was Carmelo.
He had spurts, though. He had spurts where he was decent.
J.R. Smith is good when he's not like the second option.
And he's streaky. He's real streaky.
And then he came down and he missed a 3, and I lost my parlay. Cost me $200.
Well, that's a great story. Unfortunately, we can't even bet in Louisiana. I think we're gonna. I think voting's coming up Monday or something, and we can vote for fantasy sports to be legal. It's not. It's the dumbest shit. I mean, I can't even bet like the DraftKings thing. We can't play that in Louisiana.
I used to do that. I wasn't very good at it.
No, I wouldn't even play it anymore. But when I was younger, I definitely would have played it. I don't know, man. I think gambling should be legal in general. I don't understand why it would ever be illegal. I don't need the government telling me what I can and can't do with my damn money. The money they take out of my taxes, they do what they want with that. I can't do shit about it. But the money I get, if I want to go and blow my whole check on red at the casino, I should be able to do that.
You sound so old right now.
I do.
Oh, God. If I had a lawn, you could tell me to get off it. I guess that would be your lawn, not mine.
I have a lawn, and I tell the damn neighbor's dog to get off it all the time.
I don't think that's the same thing. That's a dog. But whatever.
Yeah,
at least we know that you hate dogs now. You terrible, terrible person.
I have 2 of them. We have a English bulldog. We actually just got a Shih Tzu this week or last weekend. Little Shih Tzu.
That's not a dog. That's a dust mop.
She's cool as shit, though.
I feel like we're rambling, and when we do that, that usually means the show's over.
It is. So we're gonna end it there. It's week 5. Hopefully we'll be back sometime mid-season, maybe between week 8 and 17.
Fuck y'all.
We'll get one in there somewhere. So yeah, that's gonna be the end of the show for us. Anything else you want to throw in there, Mike?
No, I'm just gonna lay in my bed and listen to Disney music. It's cool.
All right. Well, I don't think we'll have a show before Thanksgiving, so you guys have a happy Thanksgiving, and be safe out there and eat a lot of turkey.
Unless you're Otto and you do that stupid Canadian Thanksgiving that doesn't count.
That's Canadian stuff. They do what they want. Anyway, you guys have a great weekend. Later.
Bye.